Hey, what's up, guys? It's Abel Ramos and Jackie Potter with Compass. We're coming at you live with our market update for March of 2024, how we did in comparison to March in 2023, and what we believe is on the horizon for the rest of this year. So that being said, Jackie, get right to it and start it off.
Sweet. Well, we'll start with the highest and lowest sales of the month of March. The highest sale is a fun and interesting one. That is Pompey Court, the 1919. It's over 105 years old home in Montecito. It's 8 acres. It recently went through a very infamous renovation with a very infamous Montecito real estate mogul. Listed actually last year for like 46 million. Came off the market, just sold for about 32 million. So, and I think she bought for about 22 million. So she made around 10
really well
in a year.
Not bad.
And
Definitely knows what she's doing.
Definitely knows what she's doing. She picks some beautiful homes. You can't deny it. And then lowest sale was actually an interesting one as well. It's in, I think to this date, still the only, affordable housing condo community. And that one is a 1-bedroom condo, 1 bathroom in El Zoco. And that was for 417,000, and it was off market.
Right. And I'm sure there's probably some deed restrictions there on those sales. So.
Yeah, that's a really interesting building. It's had some unique history even recently.
I just mean from the perspective of how they actually are able. We'd have to look into it more.
You have to follow specific guidelines.
They have specific guidelines on how they're sold. I don't even know if you're able to profit on them. I think they're just being sold to the next person.
Yeah.
It's not the market that we're following, but just curious.
Yep.
Anyway, so that being said, sounds like some big sales have taken place, which leads us to our next stat, which was 100 sales for last month. So we did increase from 89 sales in February, now at 100 for March. 77 of those were single-family homes and 23 condos, both overall sales up. How many of those sales were cash, do you recall?
43%, so almost half.
Almost 50%, right? 1 and 2 almost. Like I feel like that's kind of the stat to, for the Santa Barbara market.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've stayed anywhere between 40 to 50 over the last couple of years, so nothing's really changed with that.
No, but a strong thing to point out about the market nuance of Santa Barbara, if you are a buyer, like you were competing most likely against a cash offer, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. I just had this conversation with some buyers of mine, and when you're competing against cash offers, it's so important that your lender and your realtor are on your side. So, I say, yeah, we're going up against cash, but we have an incredible lender on our side that's as competitive as can possibly be. So that's one of the things in a market like this, with interest rates being how they are and a cash market, you really want to make sure that you have a reputable lender.
Right. So it's not always about shopping rates, even though we are in a rate-driven environment. Right. I get it. It's not always about that, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially in a niche market like ours where we all know the lenders, and we know if your lender is serious. We also know if you're using a cheap lender that's promising you an interest rate that maybe isn't going to pan out throughout, the loan process.
Or a horrible transaction.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You go to a bank and it's going to be a nightmare. Well, anyway, days on market at 28 days for a single family home.
A little bit less than last month. I think that was 31. So.
Okay, and 21 days for a condo.
Same as last month on that one. So not a lot has changed. It's still a quick market for the homes that are priced well.
Exactly right. Priced well and actually a good home. We're seeing them still fly really quick.
Which kind of goes into our median sales price. That's been pretty stable for single family. It's 2.1. And for a condo, it's slightly above $1 million. So, I was looking at the data and we'll put up some graphs here in a second. But sure, for single family, we're 7% down from last year, but that's like $150,000 difference. And for condos, we're 15% down from last year, which is like a $200,000 difference. So in the scheme of a market like ours, where the median sale price is 2.1, $100,000 isn't a huge change.
And I feel like that will bump back up after a couple other big sales sell, right?
Totally. Things fluctuate
every month.
When you look at this graph here, we'll show, that zooms out, you can really see, I mean, yeah, we had an upward trend from COVID, and then we had that little adjustment, you know, in 2022 where the market really stopped just flying up. But we bumped down and we're just bumping right back up and had
pretty
no
stable.
change.
Pretty stable, no change. Not much of a change from our previous comments in last month's market update. But one thing I want to note about condos, just because I was on a listing appointment the other day, is we haven't seen many luxury condos come on the market. What I mean by that is, you know, 3 million or more. Let's call it 2.5 million and up. There hasn't been many that have come on the market in quite some time.
I know Paseo Chapala did have one, and that was a pretty nice one that got redone and sold. But all these downtown condos, we really haven't seen a lot of movement. So if you're a seller thinking about selling a downtown condo, you're in a great position because there's no inventory. But if you're a buyer, it's rough out there. There's not a lot.
Have to compete, right?
Yep. Or you need an agent that's knocking on doors, sending letters, trying to find you that condo. You know, overall, our market is stable. Stable meaning not a lot of change. It's definitely expensive, and interest rates are climbing. And we have a really interesting insurance environment in all of California, which kind of goes into what we really want to share. We're going to have a video that's going over some of these things that really we feel are going to impact our market, especially here, you know, in Santa Barbara, where we have some insurance problems going on. So catch our next video after this. We'll put a link in the bio that just goes over some of the main impacts we really think are going to hit the market that I don't think a lot of people are really talking about.
Well, stay tuned for our next video. That's our market update for March of 2024. We look forward to seeing you next month.